to you and how I speak to someone that maybe at the top of the company, but we develop, we change. I am I am a different person than I was 3 years ago. I joined Plexus 3 years ago. I have grown. If you would have told me I was going to be speaking in front of people 3 years ago, I would have laughed in your face. We believe in self-development. We believe in, growing and becoming better each year, whether it's with Plexus or not. But you have to remember who you were when you first started Plexus, why you got started in this business. You display your brand not just on social media, but also everywhere you go. People are watching you. You have to be authentic. And this is one of my key points tonight is you can't create one brand on Facebook, Instagram, and then be in real life be completely different. You have to be real. You have to be genuine. So people are watching you in the car rider line. They're watching you at church, on the baseball field, at dinner where you went to dinner tonight. People are watching you. Whether you're silver or diamond, people are watching to see, are you real? Or do you believe in the things that you're saying? I always say people followed you because they liked you, not because you're selling Plexus. So you don't want to change your image. You don't want to just join Plexus and say, okay, I've got to be all about health and fitness and, all about, making lots of money and such, whatever Plexus means to you. You can't change that. You have to be who you are. And this is one of my favorite little examples of that because, I joined Plexus, and I still am, as someone that shopped primarily at Target. I got all my dresses at Target. I got my makeup at Target. I got my purses at Target. And some days I just turn around and just start laughing. I was in car rider line, and I'm sitting there in a Lexus, and I look down at my big, here it is, never full Louis Vuitton. Can I tell you the only reason I have this is because I want a shopping spree, and I got it for free. I would never in a billion years spend money on a Louis Vuitton. But, for me, my friends still know that I'm still the Target wearing person. I am still the person that is probably going to go buy the buy one, get one free at Publix. And I think this is a good point to remember. If you joined as a Target wearing person, chances are your network, and nothing wrong with Target, trust me, I'm wearing it, probably right now somewhere. If you joined as that person, most likely your market are the Target wearing people. Now, some of you might have Louis Vuitton market, and that's perfect because that's what we're going to talk about tonight. You want to make sure your brand, that your post, that your life is connecting with your market, the market that got you into Plexus. Because I think as we join Plexus and we build a team and we become successful and we do change and some things are good, we have to remember where we came from. So, something someone told me one day, I've heard it actually a few times. It's friends will say, well, Julia, if you can succeed in this business, anybody can. I can do it. Now, at first, I was kind of taken aback about that. I was like, is that a compliment or not a compliment? But then I realized that it is a wonderful compliment because my ordinary kind of chaotic life, my Target wearing self, it relates to so many. And it instills a belief in just, ordinary women like myself that they can do this, that this is attainable, and that you don't have to be a certain something to succeed in this business. So with branding images, we're going to kind of talk about a few things. That was kind of my intro. I felt like that was a little choppy. Sorry y'all, but I hope it made sense. But with branding images, with branding, you can see these few things. And you know exactly what they sell. We know what the Apple means. We know what Bloomingdale's and Amazon. But you know what? People can be brands too. And that's really what we're talking about tonight. One of my favorite, well, first of all, I have to ask, how many of you follow strangers on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter that you don't know because you're attracted to their lives? I do. That's because they have branded themselves well. You're attracted to their lives. Now, the Bucket List family is one of my favorite people. I don't know these people from anywhere, but I love them. Why? Because they have young kids like me, and they love to travel. I have young kids, and I love to travel. So I love following their story. I love watching their little videos on all their vacations and such. Now, Chip and Joanne. Can you talk about branding without Chip and Joanne? I don't think you can these days. How many of you are Chip and Joanne fanatics? I see some hands going. Okay, confession. I have never seen an episode of Fixer Upper, ever. It's just not my thing. I don't do reality TV. However, I know their brand. They're madly in love. They love each other. They love shiplap. I'm not exactly sure what shiplap is, but I know they love it. They love Jesus. And, you know, I'll tell you, I know all those things because they're good at branding themselves. They're not just people who fix up houses. They have created a whole brand in themselves by the way that they portray themselves, how the way they share their life. They're not, I really think they probably do love Jesus and do love each other in real life. I don't know them, but I believe it. So they're sharing the story of their life. And that's exactly what you have to do. Everything that you post, everything that you do, the way you interact with your team, the way you interact with the person in the grocery store line is creating your brand. And you want to make sure that it's all genuine, and not to say it has to be perfect, because sometimes the imperfections make us more relatable, but making sure that you're telling the story of your life. In our business, it's important to build a brand that people think, I want to do that. The bucket list family, I say, I want to go to Utah. I want to go to Germany. I want people to look at my life and say, I want to sell those products, because apparently they work, and she truly has freedom. You know, she truly has financial freedom. She truly has time freedom. You want to make sure that with the brand that everyone's looking at you and that says kind of like what they were saying to me, if she can do it, I can do it too. So if you have your camera out, I want you to take a snapshot of these few questions. These are questions to consider, and we're going to dig deep, further in, but what's important to you at this point? Let's talk about building your brand. What's important to you right now? Who is important to you right now in your life? What has changed? Because what has changed is going to create your brand. And are you consistent? So we're going to go into those. But right before we go into those, we're going to talk about, just the Plexus brand, because we do work for an amazing company. And one thing that I love about Plexus, if you ever go to Arizona and have the chance to go into the home base, you will walk in and you will see all over the walls our core values: to be trustworthy, to be honest, to be reliable, and to be responsible. You see this. You don't question what Plexus stands for because you see it all over the walls. And guys, I love this company, and I really do. Listen to that. Trustworthy, honest, reliable, and responsible. Sometimes I have to do a self-check. Am I being those 4 things? Because those are some of the 4 main things that you want people to think of when they think of you and this company. But Plexus also has, as their brand, they promote health and happiness. We know that. We're the health and happiness company. Opportunity, and One Plexus. How are you portraying those 3 things in real life and social media? And this kind of gets tricky. Healthy decisions. Let's think about health and happiness. Are you posting pictures of your big, fat, juicy cheeseburger every single day, or even once a week? Now, guys, if you know me well, I love a good cheeseburger. I love to eat. But I'm not going to post about my junk food habit all over Facebook. And honestly, I don't have a junk food habit like I used to. That's what I'm going to post about. Now, are you posting about exercising? Okay, health. That's part of it. One of my favorite hashtags is Drink Pink and Move. Guys, you have to be a product of the product. We have to align ourselves. And sometimes, you know what, you do need to, someone said it the other day, sometimes you do need to slap on some lipsticks and brush your hair before you go to Walmart. I'm not saying that you have to look like a supermodel, but sometimes you do have to present yourself well. And I think that's very true in this. Are you telling people about the opportunity? One of the first slides that you saw was a picture of me and my daughter. It was a selfie in the hospital bed. And I love this because this is a real life story of how I shared the opportunity in my branding. So she fell off the monkey bars and we had to go to the emergency room. This is the beginning of summer. And as I was sitting there, of course, we took a selfie. We were waiting for the doctors and stuff. And I just wrote on a whim, I wrote a quick post about just the financial freedom. I don't even know if I use the word financial freedom, but just the opportunity has done for us. That I didn't have to worry about the stress of hospital bills and how we were going to pay for an emergency room. I was able to be all there with my daughter, Nixon, and how just great that felt. How a mama's heart, I didn't have to worry about the bills. I could just worry about my daughter. Guys, I posted it real quick, didn't think much of it. Minutes later, a dream teamer, someone that I have been talking to for over 2 years because I want this opportunity for her so bad. She messaged me and she said, I want in. She goes, I'm in. Guys, she knew she loved these products, but by me telling a story about what this opportunity has done for my family, a real story, not hashtagging Plexus Freedom or saying, oh my goodness, I'm so thankful Plexus paid for this emergency room. No, I just simply told a story about how I didn't have to worry about the finances, the stress of it while I was sitting in the emergency room. She caught the vision of what this opportunity would give to her, and she joined my team. So it really should not be hard to align your brand with the Plexus brand, because really this is exactly what it gives to us. It gives us great health. We should be able to post all day health testimonies and things that it's doing for us and our family, because if you're not a product, in my opinion, you shouldn't be in the business, to be honest. I mean, you should be taking these products. And then the happiness, the opportunity, it gives us opportunity. It might be that you're only making $100 a month, guys, and that's okay. Post about how you get to, I remember this being such a joy for me at the beginning, getting to take my kids to Chick-fil-A at toddler time on Friday. I could afford to do that. Y'all, that's huge for a stay-at-home mom that can't take her kids to toddler time. Share that story. And again, you don't have to say Plexus paid for this. Just so excited taking the kids to toddler time, thankful, for a little extra money to be able to do these special things for my children. Y'all, that goes a really long way for a lot of people. And then, of course, One Plexus. And we know that. Rachel and Eagle, right here, this call is exact example of One Plexus, the way we help each other, we support each other, we use each other's strengths and weaknesses. Just continue to always be intentional of putting the Plexus brand, these 3 points, throughout your life and your social media to everyone. So, okay, we're going to say review your network. Okay, I think this is one of the most key points. I think this is one of the ones that we miss, is evaluating who your true audience, your true network is. You need to make a habit of reviewing your network and ask yourself, has it changed and has it diversified? And how has it diversified over the past few months? Because sometimes I think we see this social media world and we're all posting the same exact things, which I love that we get to share and copy and paste each other's posts. I love it. But sometimes it's not what works for us. We have to be intentional of posting towards the people in our market. I would say my market has really changed 3 times in my Plexus journey. When I first joined Plexus, I moved back to Alabama 2 weeks afterwards, and I started posting about Plexus, and no one in my network really had ever even heard of Plexus. So it was brand new. So the way I reached out to my friends was like, hey guys, these products are amazing. It helps the kids' skin, and my friends back in Texas are making a killing. Come do this with me. It was an awesome little warm market right there. They didn't know about Plexus. But, as I posted, I had to educate people about Plexus. I had to tell them what our products were and what our products did. Something that was really great for me was I got to share my success story in the business in real life. So some of you on this call, I can see you've been with me for 3 years. You got to see my business building from the very beginning. You got to see me coming from silver to diamond. And so that actually is kind of and some of you're in that season. People are watching you. And I told that story as I grew in the company. But then obviously that warm market kind of started getting cold. Everybody started knowing about Plexus. So it was time to reevaluate. So we were here in Mobile, and last year, about this time, we decided to stop homeschooling our children. And we decided to send them to a little small private school here. Y'all, overnight, my network, my warm market completely changed. Here in Mobile, I will say most people know what Plexus is. It's one of the few cities that I think it really boomed at the beginning 5 years ago. But most people here think it's weight loss. They think when they hear the word Plexus, they think weight loss. So I learned quickly that I had to really start going back to my posts and posting about what Plexus truly was: gut health, and blood sugar, like things that were not just weight loss. And I also realized that these people at the school, they met me as a diamond. They met me driving a Lexus. They met me carrying Louis Vuitton. And, that bothered me. That's not me. They had no idea that 2 years ago, I came to Mobile with $37 in my checking account to my name. And I wanted them to know the real me. So I became very intentional of friending people on Facebook. Now, I'll tell you, I would have been their friends with or without Plexus. I would have volunteered at the school with or without Plexus. But I also know by doing those real life things, I'm building my network also. So I became intentional about making posts about the basics of Plexus, sharing all that they had to offer, and also kind of backtracking my story, telling how their life has completely changed because of Plexus and how grateful we are for how the Lord's used it to provide for us. So that was another, new warm market. Now, about 5 months ago, we moved to a new neighborhood. Again, my network changed. And, I'm not just telling y'all these stories just to hear the story of my life. I want you to start thinking, how is your network changing? Your network changing should always be changing. Now, you might not be moving, but did you join a new gym? Did you join a new church? Did you, are your kids starting a new classroom next week? That's a whole new network of moms. But I moved to a new neighborhood and I went to a neighborhood picnic. And for all of you that aren't from the South, yes, we have neighborhood picnics here and I love it. So we were invited to go down to one of the neighbors' house to have this big picnic. And I met several women and all of them friended me. They're like, let me find you on Facebook. I didn't have to do it. So they all friended me. And I got home and I was doing a posting challenge for my team. And it was really more for me to show my team, how to post. But I stopped because I was like, okay, they just all friended me. Like 6 new women. I have a whole new network of people warm market, of people outside my network. I want to be intentional of how I post and how I portray myself because I want them to know that it's not just, come join my Plexus team. I friended you at the picnic. Come join me. I want to build a relationship. I want to teach them, why I love this company, why I love these products, why it would fit with them. So I was very intentional, and I still kind of am now, still to this day, of how I post on Facebook because I'm posting towards my warm market. I'm posting towards my market. I'm not posting for all 17,000 people on my team. That's not who I'm posting to. I am really posting to have people look at me and see my Facebook and my social media and say, what, I want what she has. I want to do that. So I think really if you've been in this, I don't know, Rachel, you might could say at least a year. I think we probably all fall in the trap of everybody knows I do Plexus. Why do I have to post every day? Everybody knows I sell it. I'll just post a few times a day and that'll be all right. But my answer about posting every day and building your brand is yes, you need to post about Plexus, a direct Plexus post. Now, to me, all my posts are pretty much Plexus because my whole life, the way things are is thankfully through this freedom that I have. But you need to post every day. And I'll tell you a few reasons why. Somebody must have logged into my account. A few reasons why. A, your network and audience should always be growing. So if you're truly growing your network, you need to continually educate people about Plexus. B, your team is watching you. Now, I say I don't post towards my team, but I know my team is watching you. And if you have one team member, you are a leader. And they need to see you post, and they need to see how you're posting. More is called than taught. They're going to post the way you do. And then C, I'll tell you, if you're sitting here, if you are on Rachel Neagle's team or my team or probably anybody's team in Plexus, you have hundreds of wonderful, amazing health testimonies of people on your team. It is our job to tell those stories and maybe change the life of somebody in our network. It is our privilege to tell people of how these products have helped my kids' skin, because I know there's tons of people out there who have children who's scratching and itching and doing bleach fasts tonight because they don't have our products. I know there are tons of women out there with autoimmune diseases, just like my mom, that are on tons of medication. And guess what? They don't have to be because of the products I sell. So it is our job to post every single day, share these stories, and do it in a way that will connect with those around you. And it's not your responsibility for them to come to you. It's your responsibility to share, and then they will eventually, hopefully, decide this is for them. So that's kind of my soapbox of why you should post every single day about Plexus. We're going to skip a little Les Brown there for time's sake. So let's talk about your team. Like I said, I know not all of you are diamonds on this call, but you are a leader when you get one person on your team. And I think I love my little power partner. Lindsay Russell always says, start out like you can hold out. And, you know, I think the way you start your business is probably the way it's going to gradually go. So a little story about my team. It's important, like I said, more is caught than taught. So they're watching you. They're watching you the way you post. You can have 1 billion Zoom calls. You can do Facebook Lives on your team page, telling them about posting every day and how to post. But where they're going to learn it is by watching you. So that is why it's so important that you are being intentional on the way you're branding yourself, the way you're posting, the way you're portraying yourself out in public. And I'm not knocking on anyone, but I notice when I go out to eat with a bunch of Plexus people and the ones that ordered Diet Dr. Pepper, I mean, I'll be honest. I'm like, what? Diet? No, you can't have aspartame, But, it's fine, but more is caught than taught, because what that teaches the next person is like, oh, it's okay if I do this, but just take the products. You have to be an example. So this picture right here, it kind of makes me laugh. These were my jewels, probably about 1.5 years ago. We've added, I think, 6 since then. But we love this picture. We got this picture made at our Rockstar Days on 30A. I think we kind of look like the Kardashians, or the Real Housewives of Plexus, someone said. But, it was kind of going around social media. We all went to college together. We all went to Troy University about the same time. Most of us were in the same sorority. And I went to lunch with a friend here in Mobile. And she looked at me and she said, Julia, to be successful on your team, you have to be a rich, stay-at-home, young sorority girl. And I was offended. I was like, no, you do not. She was like, that picture that's going around, that's all it is. And I jumped. I was offended. I was like, no, because, Rebecca works full-time. Several of them were teachers. I definitely wasn't rich before Plexus at all. I wanted to defend myself. But then days later, a week later, I kept seeing the picture pop in my newsfeed. And guess what? Even though that's not what we were trying to portray, that's what was kind of communicated in all of this picture and the posts that were going around. I definitely would look at this and say, Julia's team is full of a bunch of pretty, younger girls. And so, we got together, a few of us, and we said, we want to be intentional to really post that you don't have to look a certain way. You don't have to be a certain age to be successful on our team. So for a very long time, I really started posting pictures and stories of older jewels, of people who didn't look like us, people that I knew worked full-time and built, really telling the backstories. We joked about doing the same picture, but doing it real life, kind of like my Christmas card, me holding 4 kids and Rita in her scrubs from work. We really probably should do a, real life of this. But this is the thing, we tend to naturally, it's a natural thing that we all do, we tend to naturally only post like those around us. And if you do, you're going to miss huge opportunities if you're not branding Plexus in the light that it is. Anyone can succeed in this business if their why is big enough. And I 100% believe that. There are jewels of every shape, size, and color. There is. Of full-time working, non-time. To Rachel Ingalls, the crunchiest person I know. I ate a thing of Pringles today. That's probably not branding myself good, but I did. So, you don't have to be a certain way. I think you have to know your why, you have to be passionate, and you have to be genuine. And being genuine is what's going to get you, because you're going to connect with so much more people. So your team. We're still back on our team. Your team needs you. So I will say, in your branding, or in your post, are you instilling belief and excitement in them? Are you making leadership? And this is something that's really was direct to the diamonds. Are we making leadership? Are we making Plexus look attainable and attractive? I fell into this. I had a friend look at me on this team. She might be on this call, and said, I don't want to be a diamond if it means I'm as stressed out and busy as you are. Oh, well, that's not branding myself very well. And so I had to really reevaluate ourselves. Now, y'all, I will tell you, I was letting Plexus consume me at one point. I let it consume me. And being consumed is not Plexus. You at Silver can let Plexus consume you. If all you're talking about is Plexus, if all you're posting about is Plexus, when you get to Sunday dinner with your family and all you want to talk to, every time they say they have a headache, you're like, oh, I have ease for that. Oh, you have eczema, I have body cream for that. That's overkill, guys. You cannot let Plexus consume you. It's not attractive. But I will say, being consumed and being busy are two different things. I have been busy since the day I was born. If you've known me for 35 years, I stay busy. If it wasn't Plexus, I would be making tutus or sewing my kids' school clothes or making spirit shirts right now or making some theme party because I have the first day of school breakfast coming Wednesday and I've got to plan it. That's me. I'm still going to do that. But, I like to stay busy. And I remind my audience that I am a busy person. I like to go, go, go. Plexus is just part of my busyness now. I am a goer and I'm a doer. I do not sit still. But guess what? That's not a requirement for Plexus. And if you make it look like you have to stay busy and be traveling all the time and having parties and sipping teas all the time, that's not attractive to a lot of people. There's a lot of diamonds, a lot of jewels that are introverts, that are homebodies, that are probably just sitting in their room doing nothing tonight. That would drive me crazy, but it's not a cookie cutter company. If you're my kind, you have to be intentional to not let Plexus consume your life and be more important on intentional of how you post and how you portray the business side. So that's more of just a warning for you busy doers. Be intentional we want to post about the parties. We want to post about the trips. We want to post about all the Zoom calls. Sometimes I see posts about Zoom calls. And I'm like, oh, that sounds like work. You need to be intentional about that. Not saying that you can never post about, oh, great Zoom call with my team. But if people think you're on the computer every single night, that doesn't look attractive at all. So you can be busy, but don't be consumed. So now we go into our customers. Now, customers are my favorite. I think customers make the best ambassadors. They are critical in a piece of your business. So are you leading with the products, and do you have sheer excitement for them? When you talk to your customers, are you because remember, you're branding yourself always. So when you talk to them, it's not just like, hey, how's it going? Oh, okay, well, just make sure you drink your water. Okay, I hope you love them. No, you should be like, hey, have you drank your water? Oh, you've lost 5 pounds. That's amazing. Like excitement. They should hear the excitement in your voice. You should be troubleshooting with them. That's a whole nother Zoom call Rachel can do for you. But they should hear the excitement in you. You have to remember they are watching you as well as your team, probably a little bit closer. Even though they're in it for the products, they will definitely catch that vision of the business, depending on how you're branding, how you're portraying the business towards them. Give them a great feeling about you and your team. So that's just my little tidbit about customers. I love this quote from Jen Hawkins. It says, Plexus freedom is different for each of us, so share the joy. Plexus freedom, it might come in financial, it might come in health, it might come in just sheer happiness, having a team that won Plexus. But it's important that we share it with everyone, our customers, our team, and our Facebook audience. You have to show, without hashtagging Plexus freedom every time, show Plexus freedom in all areas of your life. So social media is really just one aspect of your building your brand. Now, if you've been on any of my boot camps, I always have this same slide. But it's important to post strategically and post smart. Before Plexus, I had no idea there were prime times to post. And actually, there's a lot of research out right now of when to post. But I will say, for us, our rule of thumbs are, the 3 key times. Early morning when people are getting up, around lunchtime when they're checking their phones, and then nighttime. I always tell someone, if you're not going to ever post, but once a day, post at night. I have seen this work for myself. I've seen work it for my team, so I'm just not changing it right now, no matter what the research shows right now. Sometimes they say if you post non-high times that more people will see it. But not only do you want to share different times of the day, you want to share different you want to make sure you're sharing different times, different topics. So, my system is business, product education, and freedom. And I try to tell stories through all of them. We say facts tell, stories sell. So are you posting about the business? Right now a lot of us are trying to gain ambassadors. If you want to gain business builders, you have to post about the business. Share my story, share Niggle's story, share your story of the paycheck that you got, even if it is just Chick-fil-A. Post stories about health testimonies. Remember, without our amazing products, none of us would be here. So make sure you're telling the stories of your team. And then post the freedom. And again, that's going to come different for anyone, but just the Plexus freedom that it brings us. With every post, and this is, I think, really key, I think with every post, you have to ask yourself, what are you trying to accomplish? I did this morning. I don't know if y'all saw my post with all my jewels, but my husband looked at me. I was trying to write. He goes, what are you trying to accomplish with this post? I was like, oh, that's part of my talk. But really, with the wording and the picture, every post you need to think, okay, what am I trying to post? Not just check off the list I posted today. What are you, sorry, I kind of lost my accomplishments. Is it recognition? Are you trying to praise someone, give somebody a shout out? Is it time freedom? Is it a product promotion? Like maybe you're trying to highlight a product. Is it health testimony? Is it inspiration? Or maybe you're just trying to share the story of your life. Does your post align with your brand? Okay? Does every post, could somebody look at every single one of your posts and say, you know what, that sounds just like Megan. That sounds like something she would say. Oh, I can hear Julia saying that out loud. A real quick example of this is I love Christy Hull. She is a Diamond Ambassador. I would follow her. I think she does a great job of branding herself. But Christy is like the happiest, like bubbliest, kindest person I think on earth. And all her posts are like full of 1,000 emojis. Now, I'll be honest, another thing I love about Plexus is we can copy and paste. We can share each other's ideas. And it's okay every once in a while. It really is. You just want to make sure it's coming from your voice. So I copied and pasted this amazing thing, and I put it, so I couldn't click send because I don't use 100 emojis. Y'all, if you know me, I don't like to hug. So I'm not going to use 1,000 emojis. Like, it's just not my personality. So I took off all the emojis, might have left one or two. That's more my style. I changed some words to make it sound like it came from me, and then I used it. Now, I'm not condoning y'all all not to ever write your own posts and just copy people's, but I'm saying it happens. It's real life. But that's kind of a good example of making sure your posts are coming from your voice, because that's how you're creating your brand. I'm trying to see. I feel like my things, okay, I'm just going to go this. My slides aren't following with my thing. But branding is key. So you want to make sure you have balance. We always say non-Plexus posts are important as Plexus posts. But I want to give you a few real life examples because I don't think, non-Plexus posts, obviously you can share what Plexus is doing for you without hashtagging it. And I think I've said that 15 times. But every Friday, once the kids go back to school, Jared and I, we have a date day. That Friday is our date day. We had 4 kids. The oldest is 10. We've never lived in town with family. Babysitters, even, I still think they're expensive. So we decided, a cheap way for us to go on a date, it's not Friday night, it's Friday during the day while they're at school. So we hashtag date your spouse Friday date day. Now, guys, I'm not saying because of Plexus, I get to go on a date every Friday. But people see that, and I promise you, with their husbands sitting at work and they're sitting in their cubicle, they notice that Julia and Jared, they have a freedom to go on a Friday date every single Friday. Do you see how that works? Like, I'm branding us without just vomiting Plexus again over them. I had an example from one of my teammates, Kim Elamine. I think it was perfect. We were talking about this today. She did she was going to, I think, walk or run. I'm not sure. But I think it was walk 100 miles before her birthday. And so she hashtagged 100 miles before the 27th or something. And like every day she had this cute picture of her person pushing her stroller and then walking with her husband and different things. Now, was she trying to sell Plexus to me? I know she's a Plexus ambassador, but I know that health, remember, health is one of our key things. She's exercising, she's moving, she's showing that this isn't a magic pill. You got to get out there and move. So just come up with different ways. They don't all have to be hashtags. It could just be just things. Here is an example of a silly example of April Fool's post that I copied and pasted from somebody that got 1 billion likes because it was funny. It was almost kind of making fun of ourselves. Just be light, be genuine, and be you. And make sure there's a balance of non-Plexus and Plexus. Another thing here is Are you sharing enough to show your excitement? And now this is a hard balance. Are you sharing enough to show your excitement, or are people unfollowing and unfriending you because you're sharing too much? Now, people are going to unfollow you and unfriend you sometimes all the time. But these are the things that you really want to look at, because you don't want to dilute your own brand. Like I said, I want people to know. I love that people saw me as Carty Chaos and not Plexus Ambassador. That makes my heart happy. I want people to know that I love Jesus. I want people to know that I do love to craft, that I cannot cook. There's certain things that they need to know that has nothing to do with Plexus. Oversharing can be just as hazardous as not sharing enough. So be very mindful on that. You have to find a balance each day of sharing your life. So how do we duplicate this with our team? So like I said, all of you on here, I'm going to be in hopes if you don't have an ambassador, you're going to have an ambassador before the month is over. So how do you duplicate this? And guys, I think this is something I kind of lacked for a long time, is we have to start coaching our team on how to enhance their brand, but not create their own brand. You don't want someone to create a whole new brand, because then it's not genuine. So here is my very best friend from high school, college, adulthood, Sarah Purdue, and I asked her permission to use this. And Rachel, I think this was actually taken out, but I think it's a great example. She has been singing Ruby for quite some time now, and so we were just really racking our brains, because she was doing the right things. She was 531. She was on Zoom calls. She was reaching out. It's one of those things that a leader's heart kind of sinks, because it's like, okay, I'm doing everything I know to do. Why is things not progressing faster? So it hit me, because I was doing this talk. I was writing this talk, and I was like, branding. Because I said, Sarah, who are you? So let me tell you. Sarah, they lived in China for 2 years as missionaries prior to Plexus. They love to travel and have been to many cool places. She recently adopted a little boy from Korea, and she has 3 little girls. Y'all, when I went to her Facebook, I wouldn't have known any of that, other than a few, maybe other than our kids, maybe because of her pictures. I wouldn't have known anything about her life unless I had already known it. So I went to her and said, okay, you've got to be intentional. You have these things, and it's not fake. I'm not creating a brand. This is who you are. And you need to take this, and you need to be intentional with your hashtags and how you post. And guys, it's crazy. For the first time ever, I saw momentum start growing. Pictures that used to get maybe 20 likes, some of her pictures are getting over 200 likes, because she's been intentional in posting about adoption. She's been intentional of posting about her travels and her life and the things that they love. And, I know she loves to cook, and she's good to cook. I mean, it's not just Plexus, and it's not just, I'm a mom. She found things that made her unique, and she started to enhance them in her brand. That is what you need to do with yourself and your team. If someone is struggling, and I love to do this. Okay, Rachel, what do I know about you? I know that you love talking about thyroids, hormones. I know that your husband was in a band back in the day. There's unique things about Rachel Neagle that I know. I know she's super crunchy, and she loves gut health, and she loves making sure people are taking these products right. There's things about her that make her unique, that are unique to me, that she can create this brand. And I will say, Rachel Neagle's brand is, Thyroid Guru. I always say that, the Hormonal Guru. She used to have a page, Hormonal Harmony, I think. But the point is, take your team, get to know them, ask them these questions, and help them intentionally create a brand. And I just have to say this. You don't have to come up with some funky hashtag like Carty Chaos. Sometimes it makes me cringe, because remember, I don't like forcing a brand. Like, not every family needs a hashtag. If it doesn't come natural, I would say don't do it. But if it comes natural, do it and run with it. If your husband's in the ministry, that's part of your brand. If your husband's a doctor, you're a medical professional. So that's part of your brand. If you love tennis, that's part of your brand. Run with it. And you will see a huge benefit in your business, because I have. Every person that I've coached in this, I'm seeing growth in this. And I'll just remember that branding does not come unintentionally for everyone. For me, it did. But, I think that's okay. Not all of us can be, we're not going to have a billion kids. Not everyone's going to look like Barbie. Not everyone's going to have this perfect looking life sometimes. And that's okay, because that gives us room to build genuine, intentional brands that our friends and our family are going to relate to. And one day they're going to say, you know what? If you can do that, I can do this too. And that is our goal. So this is a hard one. And I thought about taking this out because this is really for our higher ranking people. But I thought, you know what? No, because I think even silver sometimes fall into this. Are you posting to be Plexus famous? Are you posting to continually build your Plexus business? And maybe not even Plexus famous. You might be like, what are you talking about, Julia? Are you posting to get 400 likes? Y'all, sometimes I post and I have 150 likes from Plexus people. Guess what? That does not help me building my business because not one person in my warm market noticed that, but they probably noticed it and thought, oh, those are those annoying Plexus people again. You have to decide, are your posts being geared to your warm market? Are they being posted because you want to build and continually build a brand? Are you posting just to get those likes, to get noticed? Are you seeing your post through your prospect's eyes? Think about these questions. How can it encourage your team? These are the questions I try to ask myself. Will this post encourage my team? How could it help a customer catch the vision of the business? I know Susie's taking my products. She takes the triplex. If I post this, will this help her see that she loves these products and she could turn this into a business? You have to share the benefits of Plexus. And there's a lot of great benefits. Payday's going to come up and everybody's going to be posting, oh, look, I got paid. Who gets paid 5 times a month? I do. How does that make and I'm not saying you can't do this, but you have to think, do I have a lot of people in my network who are waiting for that one paycheck just to pay the light bill, praying it doesn't get turned off? I've been there. You have to be sensitive. You have to learn to be mindful and not sound braggy and arrogant when you're posting about the blessings that, the Lord gives us through Plexus. You have to know your network. So that kind of brings me to this story real quick. If you follow me, you know that we moved to Mobile with $37 in our checking account, 36. We lived in a little tiny house out on the river, and it was okay. The Lord provided. My first Plexus paycheck paid our month rent. It made me cry. But guys, we were able, and if I could sit here a whole Zoom call, tell you how the Lord just set it up. We were able to buy our dream home. This right here, you're looking at I'm a Southern person. It's old Southern. It has beautiful crown molding, original hardwood floors. I love it. I love the house. And when we bought it a few months ago, I know my network. I was really looking at my norm network, my people outside of Plexus. Now, all my Plexus friends were like, oh, do a Facebook Live. I want to see pictures. I just kept saying, and I'm like, I can't do that. Because I know I have so many friends still living on little houses out on the river. I have so many friends in the ministry who are living in pastoriums and just, doing what they can to raise their family. I relate to that because that's where I came from, and that's what my network still is, even though I have this huge Plexus network now. And so I just made a decision. I took a picture. We're not even dressed cute. My kids don't even match. Look, it's not even a great picture. But I really didn't plan on this being the picture that went viral, or we would have matched. But, I took this picture and I wrote a post just literally directed to my non-Plexus people about how the Lord has provided. I am so thankful for this home and what it represents for my family and the future and the things we've already got to do here. But I wanted to make sure I did it in a very humble way. And not because I'm a humble, great person. I just know what it's like to look at people, and you don't want to feel jealous. You don't want to feel not happy for people, but I want people to know, I want honestly just them to know that the Lord had provided this for us, and we were so thankful through Plexus. Never mention the word Plexus. However, in true Plexus form, a lot of you took it, you added your Plexus word, like, oh, look at my Plexus diamond, look what Plexus has done for her. It became viral Plexus, and that's okay. But I decided to go this route because I knew it would connect with so many more people. And in fact, 2 people that I thought of when I was writing this post joined my team right afterwards. They wrote me, they told me how happy they were for me, and within a few weeks, both of them had joined my team because they saw what Plexus had, how the Lord had provided through Plexus. And I'm very careful of that. And I know you'll probably hear me say that. The Lord provides through Plexus. For me, it's not Plexus. But I want to make sure that's my brand. That's who I am. When I die, I want that to be my brand, not, oh, I live in this beautiful house. And you know what? You might have a different network. You might have grew up in a house that looked like this. You might have lived in a house, you might live in a better house than this, the fourplexes. And that's great. So you might can do all the Facebook Lives and show all your, your shoe closet and all that. And that's great. And that might be what gets your, I say the other people on the other side of the river to come, So that's great. But I'm talking to each of you. I'm saying you have to know your brand. Every network's different. Connect with yours. But in every network, you need to stay humble and kind. And post something new every day. So, you need to post something new every day that Plexus allows us to, either purchase or experience or a health testimony. But be mindful of your audience. And, I love this. Tim McGraw says, stay humble and be kind. So just, if you think of it when you're posting, am I being humble and kind? Now, talking of humble and kind, one of the best ways to stay that way in this business is praise others. I tell people one of my main jobs, 2 jobs, I'm customer service and I'm a cheerleader. I cheer my team on. And again, if you only have one person, cheer them on. And you know what? If you don't have a team, cheer the people above you, because sometimes people want to just be cheered. Cheer on your sidelines. We all know people work harder for praises than raises. Good leaders always keep recognition at the forefront. Tell stories on your team, brag on them, not just when they rank up. When people, I use this because Tina Marie's probably on here. She's a rock star. No, she didn't rank up last month, but man, she added 5 new ambassadors. That's incredible. If you hit that leaders board, I'm going to give you a shout out. But I do want to tell a quick story if I have time. I don't know what time it is, but I'm going to tell anyway about Roden Fields. I said that. I love Roden Fields. Great, make great stuff. But I want to tell you a story about a lady here in Mobile with me. So I have a friend that sells it. I should have just not used their name. But, and one day, she was telling me, she was doing it. I'm like, good, great. I love network marketing. I'm going to support you. One day I saw a little graphic like this, and it said top 12 in sales, and it had her picture on it. And I was like, whoa, she hadn't been doing that long, and she's already top 12 in sales. And she must really be doing good, and great for her. And so I text her, I'm like, hey, way to go. You're top 12 in sales and stuff. And she writes me back and she's like, oh, well, I'm top 12, and I don't remember the exact number, but it was like, I'm top 12 in like 30 people. Like, I was like, well, still good job. But guys, I'll tell you, her upline is a genius. Because she is top 12 of a small amount of people. Good job. And from that day on, I haven't done it every month because sometimes my months get crazy, but every so often, I always make a graphic like this because it doesn't highlight my people who've ranked up. It's highlighting my people who've gotten customers. But I'm trying to pick somebody. We'll do. I'm trying to think of somebody who would be good. I can kind of pick on. I'll just pick Tina. Tina, here. Her friends and family know she's not higher ranking, but I post this on Facebook and I'm like, way to go. These are top 12. Now, for me, I think, out of 17,000 people, it's pretty impressive. But the thing is, even if you just have a small team, no one really, I hate to say nobody knows because we're doing, but you're praising them. They've worked hard. I would love to be top 12 of 24 because it means I'm in the top. So make sure that you're finding ways to just praise people, because it's not only helping them, it's also helping create their brand. Because my Roden and Fields friend, that created her brand. It made me think, she's successful. She knows what she's doing. She's rocking that business. All these people on here, I helped create their brand. Like, oh my goodness, they must be successful. I want to buy from her because she's in the top of that team. So make sure you're praising others and doing it publicly for people. And then events, sometimes, lately I've kind of gotten the soapbox. You have to get out of your computer. You got to get from behind the screen. Remember, your brand is created in the car rider line next week, at the baseball field, at the grocery store, at church, but also at events. And, we have a little thing, I don't know who said it, maybe Tarl or Alex said, leaders are created at events. I like to say events attract leaders. When people see you at events, such as Leaders Retreat, guys, we have one more month. You should be working your hinds off to get there if you haven't gotten there. You want to be there. you want to be there. 2 years ago or about 2.5 years ago, when we were in Phoenix for the convention, I had a good friend of mine message me. She saw all of us having fun, and some of y'all have heard the story. And she said, Julia, y'all look like y'all are having fun. I want to be a part of that. She joined my team, and she was Emerald 9 months later. The event attracted her. She is a leader. Events attract leaders. So be mindful of how you portray your event on social media, though. 4,000 pictures of the same event, it might be great for us Plexus folks, but is that really attractive to your non-Plexus people? No. Highlight the good pictures. Pick the really good picture. Like, this is a really good picture of us, an Eagles in here. We're at the Diamond thing. Like, highlight the pictures. I always say fewer is more impactful. Find the pictures, so you're not posting an album of 400 pictures. No one's going to look through that, guys. Highlight throughout the day. And I'm like the queen. I feel like I'm not very great. If you saw me at Misha Key, I did not post every single thing. I didn't want to be on my phone. I wanted a break. But also, I had people message me that was like, you posted the highlights, not a whole, like, every day what we did. I think that's a good thing, guys, that we really, as social media grows and as more network marketing companies are growing, people are joining different things, we want to highlight the good things of our events. So just be mindful of that. So this is kind of the end. Your why, and we really didn't talk about your why, should equal your brand. When I joined Plexus, my why was to make $1,000 a month, to be a stay-at-home mom with my kids, just to buy groceries and make things end. Now, thankfully, the Lord has multiplied that $1,000 by a lot every month. He has provided this house for us. We drive a Lexus. I carry the Louis Vuitton, all that stuff. But guys, that's not my why, and that's not my brand. And I want my why to equal my brand. So I ask you, does your why equal your brand? Always review your brand. It can change. Compare it to your why, and do they match? Are you telling your team, your customers, and your potentials the story that you want to tell them? If someone got on your Facebook account right now, if someone kind of took pictures, if you had paparazzi following you, taking pictures of everywhere you go, would it tell the story that you want to portray? And lastly is, are you using your influence? Again, if you're brand new or you're a Diamond Ambassador, you have been blessed by Plexus. These products are amazing. This company is amazing. And are you using those to be a blessing to others? Alec, our head of Plexus, he always says, if you've been blessed, be a blessing. So to me, that's the greatest brand any of us can have, is just to share these products and this amazing opportunity with everyone. But that's all I have. I can't hear you, Rachel. Still can't hear you. You're muted.
I did something and my screen all disappeared, and I thought I'd ended the call for just a second. And I was like, what happened? Thank you so much, Julia. I really appreciate your time. There were even other nuggets of things that I got this time around that I didn't catch the first time that I heard you do this. And so I think it was awesome. And I really appreciate your time and your wisdom, and just the gift of you giving that to our teams tonight. I will be honest, I forgot to record about the first 5 minutes, but I got the rest of it. And so as soon as it downloads, I'll send it to you so you can post it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for being on here. Have a good night.